Okay, and welcome back. This is the Paracord Weaver. Today we're going to talk about making a Cobra bracelet. Very basic, single color. Go over some of the tools that we typically use when we work on paracord. Some of these we will not use during the making of the bracelet. We have an awl. This one we grind down so that there's no sharp point on it. Paracord hates sharp points, so it's very dull, but it gives us a handle so we can work on things. We have needle nose pliers, and we have these that are smooth. There's no teeth in here because it'll snag the cord if there's teeth in there. Okay. Then we have what we call lacing needles or fids, and these are ones that we make here at the Paracord Weaver. And we do that because we can decide how big of a hole we want and what thread to use. Okay, the commercial ones, they only give you one choice, and if you can't get it to work, then you're out of luck. So these have a longer tapered tip on them than the commercial ones. The commercial ones are normally blunt and rounded right at the very end, and they're very hard to get underneath of the paracord. These, with these tips, are very easy to slide in there, and with this long taper and the blunt tip on the end, they work very, very well. They don't take very long to make. So we just make our own here at the Paracord Weaver, and I'll show you how to use those a little bit later. We use side cutters instead of scissors. Scissors will tear up your paracord. Side cutters cut it clean. Okay. Flexible tape measure. We need to be able to measure our wrist. And then some way to singe the cord. And this is what we use, an extended lighter like this. We make sure that we buy the ones that have the refills on the end, because the refillable butane is much less expensive than having to rebuy this whole thing. The piezo crystal igniter in the front, they very rarely have any problems. The crystal will never wear out. A connection may come loose and you have to get a new one, but the crystal itself will last forever. So the butane lighter. We're going to use the jig that we make here at the Paracord Weaver to make this bracelet for us. You don't need a jig. It's a little more difficult, and maybe on a different video I'll show you how to do that. And then you also need your paracord. So let me show you what we do first. Is we measure the wrist, okay, and we put it on there, not too tight, but it's got to be snug. I'm about 7.5. So we're not going to make a 7.5 inch bracelet. That would be too tight. What we're going to do is we're going to add 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches to our wrist measurement, and that will get us really close to where it needs to be. So I was 7.5. That means that I need about 9-inch bracelet. Okay, and with making these bracelets, you need about 1 foot of paracord for every inch that the bracelet is measured. So I would need about 9 feet of cord. Okay, if you're a 6-inch measurement, you would need about 7.5 feet of cord. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this. I have this set up as just a very small one for the demo, so you can see how everything works. We just fold the ends together, and then we run it to the end. We try to get all the twist out of it. And then we start at this end and we do it again and go through. Okay, so now all the twist is out of the cord. And we start on the buckle. And before I do that, I want to make sure that everybody understands how to measure a bracelet. Where this comes together right here, do you see that edge right there? Where this edge comes together, that's your measurement from there to there. Okay? Where that little line goes across, where those two buckles come together, that's where you're going to measure from. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to come up from the bottom when we start, and we do that because what we want is this loop that we're going to come through just like this. Okay, a big loop, just come right on through. want this loop to be on top because it looks a little nicer. If you look at the bottom side, it's not as nice. So we want to keep that towards your wrist and this side up. Okay? Alright, then we'll keep our leads together, and when we come from the other side, we want to go down through the top. Okay? Our slack out. Okay, so it should look like this. You should have a cord on the left and a cord on the right, and they should be together. Don't let them get crossed. Okay? Then what we do is we start on the right side, and we take the right cord and we go over the top of this. Over the top. Just like that. Right? It looks like that. Then we take our left cord and we go over the top of this cord. Over the top. Like that. Okay? And then we go underneath everything. Okay? We're way on the bottom, and then we're going to come up through that hole. Okay? So we're going to come take this end and go up through that hole like that. And then we're going to pull it tight. Okay? Just like that. And you'll notice that there's a knot on this side, and there is no knot on this side. Okay? That's important as we go because it's an easy way to remember what to do next. Okay? So we have the knot side, the side that has the knot. We take that lead and we go over the top. Okay? So it's on top of everything, just like that. And then we take the right lead and we go over the top of this lead here. Okay? Everybody see that good? We're on top of this. Okay? Then you go underneath everything again, the whole thing, and you come out up through this hole right here. Okay? Let me pull that up. Okay? Remember, we're on the knot side. You go over the top, just like that. Take your left lead, or the lead that does not have the knot. You go over the top and go underneath everything and come through that hole. Okay? See that? We go through the center of that hole, just like that. Okay? And we do the knot side, go over, just like that. Tighten it up. The secret to making a nice bracelet is that when you tighten this up right here, that it's the same on each of these knots. Okay? If you make one knot loose and one tight, then you'll see that and your bracelet won't look very uniform. Okay? So let's do it again. Remember, this is the side that has the knot on it. Okay? Can you see that? There's the knot loop. And then this side doesn't have one, but this side does. So this is the side that we go to. Okay? We take that lead and we go over the top of everything. All right? We're on top again. Can you see it? We go on top. Okay? And then we take our other lead and we pull it over and we put it on top of this lead. It goes on top of this one, just like that, and then goes underneath and then back through this hole, just like that. And this is the paracord jig that we make here at the Paracord Weaver, and it's available on our Etsy store. It also is a jig for making your no-tangle skeins or your no-tangle hanks, whichever word you want to use depending on who you're talking to. Okay, and you can see it's all uniformed. Don't make this too tight. If you make it too tight, it gets very stiff. Okay, you want to keep your knots firm but a little bit loose so that the bracelet is a little flexible so that it feels nice on the wrist. Okay? And you can get these, we also sell on our Etsy store paracord bracelet kits. You can get 5-10 foot lengths of cord, the buckles that you need, and it'll get you started. And this video is here to support that on how to make a bracelet so you can teach others. Okay, and as you get to the end, you want to make your last knot to where it's pretty close to the end there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull this out of the jig. Set this jig off to the side here. And we'll pull this tape out of the way. And we'll show you how to finish this off. Okay, your buckle has a contour. It's not straight. Okay, and that's the bottom side of your bracelet. Okay, we're going to put some fids on here so I can show you how to do this. And I'll explain the different ways to finish this off. One of the ways to finish this off, if you don't have any lacing needles or needle nose pliers, is you take and you cut this and you singe it. And make sure that after you singe it that you push it flat, because if you don't, it'll pull through this, and you don't want it to pull through on its own. You want to be able to have to pull it through. Okay, so you cut it and singe it. That's one way to finish it. That's not how we do it here at the Paracord Weaver. At the Paracord Weaver, what we do is we put our fids on the end, and remember we're on the back side of the bracelet, and we go underneath at least 3, sometimes 4. It depends on how tight it is and what's going on, and it depends on the project. These particular ones we go 3, and we just run it through, and we pull it tight, and you can see that. We just ran it through there, and we just pull it tight, and then I'll show you again up close here. So it goes underneath the center pieces. Okay, there we go. Okay, just like that. Now the commercial fids are too fat to do that without loosening these up. It takes a lot of effort to get them in there. With these tapered ones, you can get them in there and you can get them started and you can push them right on through. Okay? So if it gets twisted, all you have to do is twist the cord while you pull it, and that'll take the twist out. Okay? So then it looks like this. And what we do is we take our side cutters and we put it around our cord that we want to cut. Make sure that you don't cut the bracelet. Okay? You want to get it close and just cut it. Okay? And side cutters work so much nicer than scissors for that. Okay? Then you can leave it just like that if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. It's soft and it won't pull through unless you pull it. Okay? Here at the Paracord Weaver, what we do is we like to singe these just a little bit, because if you don't, they will unravel. So what we do is we just put a little bit of heat to it, just to get the very tips of those things going. Okay? And then we just press them down. And we just kind of stretch it and work it a little bit. And we make sure that our cord is the thing that's closest to our skin. Okay? Because we don't want to have that singe piece, even though it's barely singed, we don't want to have that singe piece on us and irritating us. Okay? So we just make sure it's just underneath there, and the highest part is always the cord and not the singe. So you can see that there's no singe marks on the side. This is the bottom, and it still looks good. I mean, it looks like the top almost. Okay, and no singe marks on the sides. And this is our top. Okay? Okay, this is the Paracord Weaver, and that's how you make a basic Cobra bracelet and some of the tools that we use. And you give us a contact, go to our Etsy store, pick up your bracelet kits. And we'll see you next time.